There's really no easy way to say this, sir. So apparently last night she passed away.
This is Colin Strickland, and he has just been informed that his ex-girlfriend, Anna Wilson, was brutally murdered just hours earlier. When Colin Strickland first arrived at the horrific scene, investigators initially believed it was a robbery gone wrong. But a trail of incriminating evidence soon revealed something far more sinister, a carefully orchestrated murder fueled by a deadly love triangle, with the killer shockingly closer than anyone had imagined.
Did you kill Mel?
No.
On May 11th, 2022, police were dispatched to a residence after a woman placed this chilling call.
What's the address of the emergency?
It's 1708 Maple Avenue.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
My friend is staying with me, and I just walked in, and she's laying on the bathroom floor, and there's blood everywhere, and I don't know what happened.
Is she awake?
She's not awake. There's blood all over her face
Caitlin.
and all on the back of her head.
Is she breathing?
No, she's not breathing.
I've got the paramedics on the way to help you. Stay on the line, Caitlin.
The caller was Caitlin Cash, who had just returned home to find her friend Moriah Wilson barely clinging to life after being shot. After assessing the scene, officers noticed cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, leaking onto the floor. This fluid surrounds the brain, indicating that the bullets had penetrated her skull and killed her instantly. There was nothing anyone could have done to save her, but her killer could still be brought to justice, and for that, police needed answers only Caitlin Cash could provide, as she was the sole witness they had at that moment. At this point, police were still unsure about what had truly happened just hours earlier, but that was about to change, thanks to a piece of evidence that would turn the entire case on its head.
Do you know if he's talking to anyone or any friends? I know you say you don't live here.
Yeah, no, she was with her friend Colin.
Yeah,
Colin Strickland.
Did you see a gun or anything like that in there when you were in
A bullet piece.
Or I can give you his phone number. Information from you.
According to Caitlin Cash, Moriah had spent the entire day with her ex-boyfriend Colin, and had only been home for a few minutes before she was found dead. This immediately made Colin a key person of interest, someone police planned to question later. But for now, there were more urgent matters. Moriah was in town for a bike race and had brought along a high-end racing bike worth $114,000, a potential target for theft. When officers discovered the bike was missing, a new theory emerged. Someone may have been waiting for Moriah to return home alone, tried to steal the bike, and killed her when she resisted. With this being their strongest lead, investigators knew they had to track down the missing bike. It might lead them directly to the killer. With no sign of the bike inside the house, officers expanded their search to the nearby woods. But what they found there proved they had been heading in the wrong direction all along, leaving them with no leads and more questions than answers. Since the bike was found discarded nearby, officers began to suspect it had been deliberately placed there as a red herring to mislead the investigation.
That's her bike cover, yeah.
So where did the bike go?
Ollie there.
Did she keep the bike in the garage, or where did she keep the bike at?
So if you right through this first unit right here, this is her. These are her members. So
this bike cover is the
big, yeah.
So where would her bike be at?
Where would she keep her bike?
I mean, it would be right inside the door. Yeah.
Is her bike's inside the door? Is there a bike? Anywhere? You see a bike? She said she would put it right by the door. No bike. That's negative, Jobs.
If the killer was clever enough to deceive law enforcement, they were likely already working to cover their tracks.
Hey, come here. Somebody might be in here. This might be the bike, okay? But hold on. Somebody might be in here.
Henry, hold on.
Okay. All right. Over there. At 432, I located the bike.
That's why officers acted quickly to collect evidence from the scene, starting with the most crucial piece, the shell casings from the bullets used in the murder. Those shell casings could help police identify the weapon used in the shooting. Now, they just needed to locate the gun and the person who fired it. At first, investigators considered Caitlin Cash a potential suspect, which is why they brought her to the station to undergo a critical test that would help determine whether she was truly innocent.
So, let me tell you this up front. By no means in the world do I think that you did any of this. Okay? But so what they're gonna do, we're just gonna have them swab your hands for gunshot residue. If we don't do this to you, then in court they can say, oh, what about this other person? Why didn't you do this part of the investigation?
A gunshot residue, GSR, test on Caitlin Cash's hands came back negative. Given that Moriah was killed in a narrow area of the home, officers determined that Caitlin couldn't have been the shooter. However, she did provide a crucial lead. The last person seen with Moriah was her ex-boyfriend, Colin Strickland. Upon digging deeper, police learned that the two had been at a nearby cafe for drinks, never realizing it would be the last time they saw each other.
This is the same black Jeep that officers saw on cameras parked right outside Colin's home.
Hey, so Colin? Yes. Hey, so do you know Anna?
Mo. They know Mo.
Yeah, everybody calls her Mo.
Last name is Wilson. Rider, she's a
yes.
gravel rider.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so there's really no easy way to say this, sir. So apparently last night she passed away.
How did that
And right now it's an open investigation, but it is being investigated as a homicide.
This made Colin a key figure who could shed light on the events leading up to the murder. But before bringing him in for questioning, officers turned their attention to something else. Several homes in the area had CCTV cameras. When investigators reviewed the footage, they discovered something very intriguing. CCTV footage captured a black Jeep driving straight toward Caitlin Cash's home, where Moriah was staying that night. As the vehicle pulled up, Ring cameras recorded a chilling piece of audio. Right after the shooting, the killer fled the scene. Although this was a major breakthrough, there was one big problem: officers had no way to identify the driver. The footage was too grainy, and the vehicle was too far away to capture a clear image of the driver or read the license plate. However, just a few days later, while preparing to question Moriah's ex-boyfriend, Colin Strickland, investigators stumbled upon something incredibly interesting. It was the same black Jeep seen on the surveillance footage now parked right outside Colin Strickland's home.
At this point, police knew Colin Strickland was the last person to see Moriah alive. They had also found a vehicle in his driveway, matching the one caught on surveillance footage, even down to the bicycle rack on the back. Colin had just become their prime suspect, though he remained unaware as officers continued to question him.
Hey, so Colin? Yes. First name? Yes. Hey, so do you know Anna?
Mo. They know Mo.
Yeah, everybody calls her Mo.
Last name is Wilson. Rider, she's a
yes.
gravel rider.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so there's really no easy way to say this, sir. So apparently last night she passed away.
How did that
And right now it's an open investigation.
As part of protocol, officers withheld details of Moriah's death while questioning Colin, but his nervous behavior raised suspicions. To dig deeper, they looked into his relationship with Moriah. They soon discovered Caitlin Armstrong, Colin's girlfriend. During a brief breakup in 2021, Colin had a romantic fling with Moriah and kept in touch, even after getting back with Caitlin. Suspicions intensified when police found the black Jeep from the crime scene was registered to Caitlin. With a motive emerging, Colin was brought in again, this time to confirm his alibi and possibly implicate Caitlin. Colin was then brought in for a second interview as part of the ongoing investigation.
And you said that y'all left around like 6:30 to.
I don't think that's accurate. Because we must have left Fulberger at about 7:45 or even later, probably maybe more like 8.
Yeah.
Just as it was getting dark.
Okay.
Because we went straight to her place and it wasn't dark yet, but it was.
I got you.
It was cooling off, and it was like also an evening. I remember that.
Okay. Well, what about whenever y'all were at the bar? Was there anybody that was like watching y'all, or I was acting weird with Mo, or
Mo didn't know. She doesn't live here, so no, not at all.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Anybody that like tried to hit on her at the bar or anything, or
no?
Okay.
No, not that I saw. Nor that she mentioned. I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, to be honest, at the bar.
Police weren't just focused on Colin's time with Moriah. They wanted to know why the black vehicle from the crime scene was parked at his home. Colin admitted speaking to Caitlin the night of the murder but couldn't confirm her whereabouts or name her yoga studio. He also hid his past with Moriah but wouldn't be able to for long. After questioning Colin, police confirmed his alibi and gathered key details about Caitlin. Of the three, Colin, Cash, and Caitlin, only Caitlin's whereabouts were unaccounted for. Lacking solid evidence, officers found she had a minor warrant, just enough to bring her in and question her about Moriah's murder.
All right, so I'm Detective Connor, and so my partner is actually talking to Colin right now. So I wanted to come in here and start chatting with you and everything, so you don't have to wait super long. So it sounds like you may have some information, may have witnessed something, so I just wanted to chat with you about some stuff. But you're here for a warrant right now, I guess. Are you familiar with what you have going on with that?
No idea.
Okay, so I guess it was like a theft of service warrant, something kind of minor. Nothing. Okay. So that's why you're here. You've got a theft of service warrant. That's why you got picked up today and everything, so I was just letting you know on that part.
The detective stays calm to keep Caitlin unaware she's a suspect, but she still appears tense and uneasy. The officer ignores Caitlin's questions about her warrant, focusing instead on Moriah's murder, a risky move as Caitlin starts asking about legal counsel.
Tell me what it was that was the theft of service?
I can look. I'm not sure what it is at this point, but I can look that up later and get you a little bit more information on that for sure. But because you are here and because you were under arrest for that portion of it, we always have to read Miranda and stuff because I want to talk to you about some other stuff that's unrelated to that.
Though police have Caitlin right where they want her, one small mistake is about to let a suspected killer walk free. She's about to risk crossing a legal line to extract information from Caitlin, a move that could have serious consequences. Then, Caitlin's confronted prosecutor replied,
If I have an existing warrant and you don't know what it's about, do I need an attorney here?
So the warrant is just a Class B, just theft of service type thing. The reason I'm here is because your name came up during a conversation with Colin. I think there's a lot more information that you have that can kind of explain some of the stuff he's saying. But to be able to do that, I have to read you your rights, just so that you know and you're protected and things like that, okay?
Okay, and so if you're reading me my rights, then I should
That's because of the warrant, because you're under arrest for the warrant. So you're technically in custody because of that warrant. So they're two separate things. Does that make sense?
I think so, but I have never heard.
By now, it's clear Caitlin won't talk willingly. She knows she's free to walk out at any moment.
So that's what they were just knocking on the door is apparently that warrant, the date of birth was wrong. So it had your name, but the date of birth is wrong. So it's to a different person. So that's not, you're not under arrest, okay?
So the detective reveals their strongest evidence, hoping it'll pressure her to break.
I would love to leave.
He would love to leave.
Just arrested me in front of my house, in front of all of my neighbors, and carried me in here in handcuffs in front of downtown Austin. It was incredibly
I can only imagine, yeah. And I'm so sorry. I don't have control over that part, okay?
Yeah, I'm not upset with you.
So there's a situation that's going on. Did you hear about what's happened over the past 24 hours?
Colin walked in the house and said one of the women in the cycling community passed away.
Yes, yeah. While Colin was talking to us, your name came up. And So that's where I would really like to talk to you, because it sounds like there were some issues between you and this girl, and I think that there's probably a lot more to it that you could help explain.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly what you mean or what information you'd like.
So it sounds like maybe he went out with this girl the other day, and maybe it sounds like from what he's saying that you were a little upset about it. And so that's why I kind of wanted to get your side of it, because that's not fair if he's just saying one thing and trying to go down a route, and I want to make sure that's not the case.
That is not accurate.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to chat with you, because it's a guy. He's going to say stuff. And so we want to make sure that we get both sides of the story and everything and clear it up. So what were you doing yesterday?
I would like to leave, I think.
You'd like to leave?
Yeah.
Okay. But understand, if you do, then we only have one side of the story to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And from what we're hearing from Colin, you know, it's one side, and
Well, I just am uncertain as to even what you mean or what he could have said, because I didn't have any idea
exactly,
that he saw or went out with this girl.
Okay, yeah.
Recently.
Has he been like talking to her on the side?
Leave. I don't actually know.
Unfortunately, officers had no legal grounds to stop Caitlin from leaving, even though their suspicions about her were stronger than ever. If Caitlin had been plotting to kill Moriah, Colin was about to unknowingly confirm he never saw it coming. In a cruel twist of fate, Colin had bought Caitlin a firearm for self-defense, yet when police tested the weapon, it turned out to use the exact same caliber bullets found near Moriah's body. As the investigation progressed, detectives uncovered a series of crucial, damning clues that not only strongly pointed to Caitlin as the killer, but also fully cleared Colin of involvement. By collecting cell phone data and comparing it to surveillance footage, police were able to trace the movements of Caitlin, Moriah, and Colin on the night of May 11, 2022. Colin and Moriah were seen at Pool Burger after a swim. Caitlin, thinking she could hide her tracks by turning off her phone, didn't count on cameras catching everything. Footage shows a black Jeep, matching Caitlin's, driving toward the house where Moriah was killed. As Colin dropped Moriah off on Maple Avenue, the Jeep crept through the alley behind her home. Minutes after he left, a neighbor's doorbell camera captured Moriah's chilling screams before she was shot. With mounting evidence, it became clear Caitlin was the only one who could have killed Moriah. But when officers moved to arrest her, she had already fled the country, using a fake passport under her sister's name, likely to avoid detection. A warrant for her Gmail led investigators to a one-way flight to Costa Rica. Further digging revealed she had booked a hostel in Santa Teresa Beach and was working as a yoga instructor. Caitlin had undergone multiple cosmetic procedures to change her appearance, but it wasn't enough. If Caitlin's repeated attempts to evade justice and use of false documents weren't enough to convince the jury of her guilt, then the surveillance footage, Colin Strickland's testimony, and most importantly, the ballistic evidence linking her gun to the shell casings at the scene certainly were. As a result, a year and a half later, on November 16, 2023, Caitlin was found guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to 90 years in prison for the cold-blooded killing of Moriah Wilson, finally bringing closure to a case that had shaken those closest to the victim and stunned the public.